Sometimes it don't go all that right, but we get it right tonight. Hi, feeling kind of good today. We're going to do this thing, the urban therapy with some way, and everything is going to be all right, and everything is going to be all right. Thank you, won't, and everything is going to be all right, and everything is going to be all right. Break it down now. Today on the Urban Therapy with Sun show, we are talking about the yelling, screaming, and crying liar. The yelling, screaming, and crying liar. What do y'all know about people who are telling lies, big lies, but they telling big, passionate lies? So they yelling and crying and selling the fight. They make sure that they get all hyped there tonight. Word. And you understand that they can't tell the truth, but they're going to go all off and yo, show proof. Yo, so the yelling, screaming, crying liar. You know, when you really think about the road that they have probably traveled in order to get to the point where they can sell a fight like a boxing promoter like that, when they are totally not telling the truth, and maybe they have gotten to the point where they can believe that the lies are the truth, and that's why they can get so passionate about it. You know, it's tough when you're telling the truth to somebody and nobody believes you, and you're like, dang, you know, sometimes that might frustrate you to the point where you're feeling like, listen, man, you know, I'm trying to tell y'all exactly what's happening. Y'all really think that I'm lying and capping, and it's not right. And I'm really telling y'all the truth. I can show you proof. And y'all acting like rugged and ruthless. Toothless is why I might leave you if you think I'm lying and don't believe. Okay, even. Okay. The bottom line is, we're going to talk about the yelling, screaming, and crying liar. The origin of the yelling, screaming, and crying liar. Where does a person learn to turn up the heat and sell the fight even more, even though they're not telling the truth? They're lying through their teeth, but they're trying to make you believe that, yo, I'm telling you, this is the truth. And in order for me to make you believe that this is the truth, I will lie. I will deny that I'm not telling the truth. That's the truth word. If y'all only knew what I've been through this morning in order to try to get this show together, I'm wearing chains backwards and all kinds. Listen, it was like, okay. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Wah, wah. The lying, okay, I'm sorry. The yelling, screaming, and crying liar. Some of these people that I'm going to describe today might be your family members, your friends. God forbid it's you. Because sometimes it's you. But when we talk about the yelling, screaming, and crying liar, you're talking about somebody who knows how to put on a performance. You're talking about somebody who really knows how to sell a fight. You're talking about somebody who may also and often seem like a bully. You know, have you ever been lied to somebody and they almost tried to bully you into believing them? Like, I'm telling you, I'm telling you the truth. Get all up in your face, shoulders square up. Like, if you don't believe me, or, well, ain't nobody got to lie to you. What I got to lie to you for? I'm a grown man. Anybody got to lie to you, and they lying. So you have the tough guy liar, the bully liar, and then you have sometimes the tough guy yelling, screaming, and crying liar. Sort of like R. Kelly when he was doing those interviews, you know, and he was saying, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. And you're like, no offense, my brother, but you done something. You have done something. I don't know if you've done everything on the level of what you have been accused of, but for you to say that you ain't done nothing, well, I don't know, say, I don't know. That don't sound like a good look right there. So the yelling, screaming, and crying liar will sometimes square up their shoulders, you know, threaten to beat you up. Right? You think I'm lying? If you think I'm lying, slap a liar. I know. I remember hearing those kind of words when I was a kid. Well, you think I'm lying? Slap a liar, punch a liar. Then, like, I'm just calling you on your lies. What that has to do with violence? Well, I mean, since you think I'm lying to you, do something about it. Like I'm doing something about it right now. I'm letting you know that I think you're lying. Sometimes we'll give them their way. Like, okay, all right, that's the truth. And don't forget the old. Go ask my mom. Well, the yelling, screaming, and crying liars. What I've noticed is that they don't tell you to go ask their mom. The golden rule when we was kids was that once you challenged somebody to go ask your mom, at least part of what you was telling, excuse me, at least part of what you were talking about was the truth. It wasn't a complete lie, because your mom ain't gonna lie for you. Your mom ain't gonna lie for you. So even if you were telling a half truth, like I already got a ColecoVision, I already got an Atari, I already got a Sega Genesis, I already got a Nintendo, I already got something. Let's say you already got it. Go ask my mom. I got one. When the actual truth was that you were getting one, or that somebody else was getting you one. So you said, well, go ask my mom. Like, all right, well, let's go ask your mom then. So as kids, you go to your mom's house, and the liar would say to his mom, Mom, ain't I getting the Sega Genesis? That ain't what you said. He's already leading the witness. He's already, Mom, ain't my dad buying me a Sega Genesis? Don't he have it all at his house? Yeah, he do. Okay. See, told y'all. Like, but that's not what you said, Darren. Darren, you said you had a Sega Genesis right now in your house, in your room, hooked up to your TV. Well, it's going to be. The bottom line is, I told y'all I had a Sega Genesis, and I do. Well, Darren, ain't what you said. You still lying. No, I wasn't. You asked my mom. Yeah. I said I am. Go ask my mother. And with your wrinkle, I can't be your lover. With a tick tock, you don't stop. To the tick tick, you don't quit. Hit it. But yeah, the yelling and screaming, crying liar. Some of y'all been married to a yelling and screaming and crying liar. Some of y'all have been boyfriend or girlfriend to a yelling, screaming, and crying liar. You know what you often see? Somebody who is a yelling, screaming, and crying liar? You know when you often see that? Have any of y'all women listened to the show? And I know it's not a lot of y'all listening right now, but don't worry. It could be people in the background. Anyway, have you ever been hooked up with a man that got close to your family? So, this was your man, he was close to your peoples, and your peoples liked him. They might have saw that he wasn't perfect, but that was your man, and he might have been a real passionate type of dude. Maybe he wasn't the type that you always messed with or whatever. But this guy made an impression on the family. The type of dude that start calling your mom with the quickness. First time you bring him around the crib, invite him to dinner, take him to a cookout or function or something like that, and you introduce him to your mom. Mom, this is my boyfriend. Let's call him Terrence. This is my boyfriend Terrence, and blah 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 blah. Hey, hi, Miss such and such. Can I call you mom? Or straight off the bat, or straight off the bat. Hey, mom. And your mom might give him a look like, Hey, Terrence. Hey, I heard a lot about you. Yeah, I heard a lot about you too. And see, them people who start calling your mom with the quickness, normally they gonna do something out of pocket soon. They might be the super heavy jealous type. They might be the type that are crazy passionate. They might be the super lying type. They might be the type that put their hands on you. And that's when the yelling and screaming and crying come out. Because you might have brothers or cousins or some other male figures that'll go talk to him, step to him, lay hands, or eliminate him if he put their hands on you. This is when Terrence, who calls your mother mom all early in the game, this is when he gonna be like, I'm telling you, I swear to God, I ain't touch her. I mean, all right. I might have pushed her or whatever, but you know the shit she be doing, the stuff she be doing. I didn't mean to curse. The stuff she be doing, and, you know. But I love her. I love her, and you know, I do anything for her. I get a world. I just want us to be okay. All because he popped her in her nose, popped her in her eye, knocked her tooth loose or something like that, and he yelling, screaming, and crying and lying. I ain't put my hands on her. All I did was I had to keep her from hitting me. The yelling, screaming, and crying liar. Yelling and screaming and crying liar. Lying and screaming. Yelling and screaming and crying liar. Yelling, screaming, and crying liar. Yelling and screaming and crying liar. Yeah. Yelling and screaming and crying liar. Yeah. Yelling and screaming and crying liar. These motherfuckers are funny as a Richard Pryor. Prior offenses. Yo, they offending all the time. This is crazy. Hard to put it in a rhyme, but it's true. You see how they do. They did it to them, and they're going to do it to you. And they coming through forcefully all the time, but they telling all these lies, and you trying to find the reason. Who made you like this? And why you coming around here? We gonna fry your life fish. It's the day, your day. I know you're lying through your teeth. Anyway, I can't believe nothing that you say, but you always get real passionate. And I ain't down with that shit. I'm gonna get your ass in it. But anyway, the yelling, screaming, and crying liar. The yelling, screaming, and crying liar. What y'all know? One thing about the yelling, screaming, and crying liar, they will definitely make an impression on you. You never forget the person that yelled, screamed, and cried to make you believe them. Because they actually may have made you believe them. They yelled, screamed, and cried to make you believe them. And they was lying. You know, there have been high-profile cases where people was yelling and screaming and crying. There have been cases where parents have murdered their children, murdered their spouses. You know, that kind of thing. All on the camera. Oh my God. If anybody knows who did this, please contact the family. Please let me know. I better not find who did it. Because if I find who did it, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to handle my business. And they the one who did it. They be running back them news clips. Please, if anybody knows anything, you know, one thing is for sure. They don't be getting the cry off very well. One thing people remember is that, yeah, she was crying. He was sounding like he was crying, but it wasn't no tears. Oh my God. If anybody knows anything about if they know where she is, if they know what's been done to her, if anybody has any information, please contact us. Ain't a tear in sight. They crying on the inside, trying to make you believe them. That's all that's happening. They crying on the inside. Selling the fight on some Don King, Bob Arum type shit. Yelling, screaming, crying liar. The yelling and screaming and crying liar. Yeah. That's how it's going down on the Urban Therapy with Son show. The yelling and screaming and crying liar. If y'all would like to call into the show and give your 2 cents on this topic, I invite you to call in. And the number to call is area code 319-527-6199. That's the number to call. I said a 319-527-6199. Yes, y'all. 319-527-6199, baby. 319. Yes. But this is real shit. And it's a crazy thing. The yelling, screaming, and crying liar. Well, yeah, like I said, they will make an impression on you that you will not soon forget. They will definitely rain down on you. Rain down on you. You know, somebody trying to make you believe that they telling the truth. And it's funny because people will do this even when you've caught them in the act. What they call that, gaslighting, when somebody tries to make you seem like you don't know what you're talking about when you know exactly what you're talking about. When somebody tries to make it seem like you didn't see what you saw, or they try to discredit everything that you're talking about when you're doing nothing but dropping the facts. Yeah. So, it's sort of like, let's say you catch your man or your woman in bed with another man or a woman. You done caught them cheating. Like, you didn't catch them holding hands walking through the park or at a restaurant, or somebody sent you a video and pictures of them, sashaying at a hayride. You caught them butt ass naked in the bed doing the nasty. So passionate that they didn't even hear you come in. Man, for anybody who has ever caught somebody in the act of having sex, you mean to tell me that the sex was so good you didn't hear nothing? Neither one of y'all was so engrossed. Did you have the music up? Like, because I've never heard of such a thing. I've never heard of such a thing. How do you get caught? And first of all, how do you get caught in your house like this is an episode of Cheaters? That's what I'd like to know. How do you get caught having sex in your own house? Some people are stupid enough to bring somebody to their house that they share with somebody else. But you mean to tell me that y'all was into it that much to where you didn't hear nothing? I don't know, man. Because I know if I was at somebody else's house having sex, my ears are open for every little thing. Like, I don't know. I don't sleep very well at other people's houses. So that's I'm at least expecting one of your kids to come busting through the door, or knocking on the door, or something like that. I don't know. But it happens. So you might catch them dead in the act. When they telling you, nah, that's not what That's not what was happening. Or the only reason I did it because I thought you was doing it, or you drove me to do it. But I love you. I don't love her. Like, oh God. Oh God. Ah. The yelling and screaming and crying liar. It's never their fault. If you can get a yelling, screaming, and crying liar to admit that they was lying, then you've done something. You've done something. One of the reasons that lawyers don't want their clients who may be guilty or have a lot of evidence against them, one of the reasons that they don't want them to take the stand is because they have experts cross-examine people and look for all of that yelling and screaming and crying and all of these other signals that liars do. And they start to pick that apart. They're trained to do it. And so their clients are going to look bad, especially if they're guilty. But one thing is for sure, all that yelling, screaming, and crying will not go well in court. I didn't do it. I swear to God, I didn't do it. On my mama, I didn't do it. On your mama, you lying. People have lied on their mama. People have lied on their dead grandmother. People have lied on their kids. People have liars. One thing about pathological liars is that they make the lie the truth. And that's why they're able to yell and scream and cry. Because they pick out the truthful part of what they're saying, and that's what they're really talking to you about. So they can get passionate about the parts that they're talking, the parts of the truth that they're talking about. You don't see what's going on because you're talking about the actual truth, and they're not. That's not what they're talking about. So it comes off a lot different. It's special. Real special, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. The lying. I'm sorry, the yelling, screaming, crying liar. You never forget your first yelling, screaming, and crying liar, baby. You'll never forget that. The first person that bullied you into believing them when they was lying through their teeth. You won't forget that. You will not soon forget that. My first boyfriend, he was a liar, blah, 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 blah. My first girl, she was a slick little hustler. Those are the stories that we have to tell. I'm not lying. How about that? Have y'all ever had somebody lie to y'all and you knew they was lying, but you didn't accuse them of lying, but they went ahead and already said, I'm not lying. You know what that means? That means that they know that they're not selling the fight well. So they're watching you to see if you believe them. In other words, they're trying to see if you're buying it. And when they see you not buying it, then they got to make that declaration. I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. I'm like, well, why you got to say that? Because I didn't say you was lying. I never said you was lying. I'm just saying, you looking at me like I'm lying. You ever have somebody tell you that you told them that they was lying and you didn't do it? Seriously. Have you ever had somebody lie to you? You just let them go ahead and tell their story. But somehow, through they yelling and screaming and crying, they created an argument with you. And then they said, well, you talking about I'm lying and blah, blah. I'm like, I never said you was lying. Yes, you did. Well, I mean, I thought you did because you were saying how blah blah blah. Like, yeah, but I never said you was lying. They start telling on themselves when they can't sell the fight, when they can't promote themselves well, they get frustrated. Now they want to pick a fight with you. They already lost this fight of telling the truth. That's not a fight that they can win. They see themselves losing that, and they get pissed. Now they want to, they want to shift the focus to fighting with you. Because you up here calling somebody a liar. Ain't nobody lying. Ain't nobody lying to you. Ain't nobody got to lie to you. Ain't nobody lying to you. Then there's the, then there's the, well, ever since my mom died, ever since my grandma passed, and I've been having to put up with this shit. People trying to talk all this whole. Then they start going into that. None of this sound familiar to y'all? None of this sound familiar to y'all? No? Okay. Let me continue. Yeah, I've been I've been under a lot of stress. I've been under a lot of pressure. I've been having to do this. I've been having to do that. Yeah. All because they couldn't sell the fight. On my kids. On my grandmother. The yelling and screaming and crying liar. 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 Yeah, yelling and screaming, crying liar. Yelling, screaming, crying liar. Yelling, screaming, and crying liar. Yeah. Yeah. They keep pushing and pushing. They looking for the part where they can make you start believing. But you saw what they did. Or for a fact. Sort of like, a person that's lying, that's a liar, or a person that's lying, that's one thing. But the reason that we're talking about the yelling, screaming, and crying liar is because the yelling and screaming and crying liar is different. The yelling, screaming, and crying liar feels the need to make you believe. See, they don't want you to not believe in them anymore. Some liars know that once they have been labeled and stamped as a liar, they know that it'll be hard for them to manipulate the way that you feel, and it'll be harder for them to get things because the trust is gone, and they understand. They fully understand what it means to not be trusted anymore. That could take money out of their pocket. It might be the difference between them having a place to live or not. It can take away cars and all kinds of all types of material items. They know what comes along with losing trust, and it ain't something that they want to be a part of. I get it. I totally get it. Don't nobody want to not be trusted. If there's anything in the world that you would want to hold on to, it's your trust, because your trust comes along with your integrity. Even if you don't like me or appreciate me, you need to know that at least when I say something, you know that it has credibility. I don't just be out here, throwing stuff out there in the air. Because nobody wants to be labeled as the person who spreads false rumors, as the person who just be out there lying, as the person who is the person that you have to read between the lines every time they say something. Because that's not credible. It's like, consider the source. What you mean consider the source? Well, who told you? Who told you that such and such was messing around with such and such? With Tanya. Oh, Tanya told you that? Oh, all right. Well, We know that could be hit or miss because you know how Tanya is. She messy. She messy. She love to keep some shit going. And she be lying. Tanya be lying. And so we ain't doing the Tanya thing. We ain't doing the Tanya thing. Yeah. So the yelling, screaming, and crying liar, they're really yelling and screaming and crying so they can keep their integrity with you. They don't want their integrity to be in question, because once that happens, they've lost everything. Your credibility can affect your credit standing. Think about it. Would you keep lending money to somebody who never paid you back? Some people are dumb and do that shit. But that's a whole nother show. The people who will enable people to keep hurting them, that's a whole nother show. Maybe we can do that tomorrow. Maybe. Nobody likes to be called on. Nobody likes to be called on enabling somebody to hurt them, cheat on them, do them dirty and all. Nobody likes to be called on that, but we can do that. We can do that on another day. But what I'm talking about is when somebody labels you as a cheater, as a liar. When somebody labels you as a liar, you're not going to be able to get access to certain things that you want. So just like I asked you, would you keep lending money to somebody who never paid you back? More than likely, the answer is no. I know institutions sure won't do it. Credit card companies won't let you keep using the credit card if you don't pay any money on the credit card. Run up your whole limit, then you're gonna ask for a bigger spending limit. No. As a matter of fact, because of the terms and conditions on this credit card, not only have we reduced your credit limit, now you're over the credit limit. And your credit score is going to be affected. I don't know if y'all know that credit card companies can do that kind of stuff. That's why it's actually important to read the terms and conditions, because they can pull all kinds of stuff that you never thought of. Like, credit card companies have been known to, let's say if your credit score decreases, they check some credit card companies check your credit score randomly, and if they see that your credit score has dipped, sometimes they will lower your credit rate. I mean your credit limit, and raise your APR, your annual percentage rate. They'll do that, and it's all in their terms and conditions. So if you have like a variable rate APR and a variable rate credit line, yeah, they could do that. Like, so just because you didn't pay somebody else, they're decreasing your credit score. I mean, your credit limit. I don't know. My bad, y'all. Yeah. So banks won't keep lending you money if you never paid it back. Credit card companies will not keep letting you buy things if you haven't paid. It's not going to happen. So the yelling, screaming, and crying liar knows that when you tell them that you need money, like let's say if you've previously been funding their little causes, but you done found out that they've been misappropriating the funds that you've been giving them. Like, they were supposed to be putting the money into their business. Let's say it was some kind of nonprofit. Let's do something easy. Let's say you were supposed to be using the money that they were supposed to be using the money that you've been donating to them for let's say uniforms, books, um, supplies, and things like that, but you've been actually gambling the money away. You've been tricking off the money, or you've been buying clothes and things for your own personal use. So instead of donating it instead of depositing the money into the account for the actual thing that that you have been giving them the money for, they've been donating in. They've been depositing the money into their personal account and using it the way they want to. Once you find that out, and they get finished yelling, screaming, and crying, they know that everything is going to change now. Now, they may be yelling, screaming, and crying about, well, I took some of the money because I had bills that was due, and my cat got sick, and I had to take her to the SPCA in order to get them surgery, and I didn't have the money at the time, and so I just put the money into my account so I could use it for that, and then I forgot that I did that, and just lying. They lying, and if you let them get away with it, they'll keep doing it. But once their integrity is shot, they know that first of all, they done messed up a bunch of money that you gave them. And you gave it from the heart. Now you're not going to be giving them no money no more. So all that yelling and screaming and crying is sort of like them being in remorse, because their credibility is shot. Now they're not going to be able to come to you in good faith and have you donate more money. No. I done lost $15,000 behind y'all. Meanwhile, you running around here with new sneakers. You bought yourself a handbag. You bought all this makeup from the Mac counter. Like, that's what you did with my money? You ain't bought a uniform. You ain't set up no banquet dates. Here it is. This was supposed to be, it's the end of the season for this little league team, this little league football team. Their last game was Thanksgiving 2 days ago. They supposed to have a banquet this weekend. Their banquet was supposed to be this Saturday. We don't have no trophies to give out, no plaques, no awards, no nothing. Because you took the money that I gave you and that the other donors gave you, and you out here getting fly. I don't know about y'all, but I've seen that happen. So yeah, a lot of that yelling, screaming, and crying is because you done let everybody down. You done let the whole team down. At least you was able to get some of the team members to and from the field in this new truck that you bought with the funds you misappropriated. You are lying, a thief, sorta. The yelling, screaming, and crying liar. What y'all know? Y'all a little quiet today. Actually, like y'all a lot quiet. Sorry though. I keep it going. I ain't even do the intro. And at this point, I ain't. This is so good. The yelling and screaming and crying liar. Yeah. Have any of y'all been raised by the yelling, screaming, and crying liar? Because that's a problem. When you have been raised to yell and scream and cry when you're lying, that's a bad look. There really is. Because there's no bounds of the negativity or the negative places that will take you. When you learn, when a child is taught the wrong way first, the road becomes longer and longer. When you teach a child how to do something the wrong way, or when you teach them to lie first, and when you teach them to lie first, it's going to be a long road for them, because that's going to become who they are. It's already who you are. Now you done made it okay for them to do that. So their friends are going to recognize them as being the yelling, screaming, and crying liar, the person that can't be trusted, the person that you can't leave alone in a room full of valuables and things like that. Yeah, that's what you get when you start your child off with the foundation of yelling and screaming and crying when you're lying. Now they become liars because you are a liar. So people who think that it's cute to lie to their kids, we ain't talking about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and all of that. I'm not in the mood for that today. Yeah, those are lies, but a lot of those things are parents trying to live vicariously through their children. Children are innocent and they shouldn't have to worry about all this other stuff that's going out there in the world. So they should be able to have the fantasy of Santa Claus. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what they'll tell you. Okay. All right, fine. What about other serious things? Like telling children that their father left them behind and he ain't coming around, when the truth is that you've been moving, sporadically, making sure you change your addresses, making sure you change phone numbers because you don't want the father to have contact with his children. So you've been telling, there's some women who tell they children all of this bad stuff about their father, when the truth might have been that not only is he paying child support, but he been looking for his children, trying to get with his children. But the mom is like, you see, your dad don't care about you, but it's okay because I got you. I'm gonna hold it down for you, blah, 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 blah. When you see how mommy interacts with other men that she's dealing with, you realize like, mommy might have been a lying, yelling, screaming, and crying liar. And there have been plenty of children that have found out that their moms was yellers, screamers, and crying liars. And when a child sees that all of their, and don't get me wrong, y'all, because I'm not trying to get on women, because I'll do dads the same way. But when a child sees, first of all, children want to see their parents doing well. They want to see them happy, especially their moms, because you see your mom struggling. You see your mom, doing the best that she can with what she has, doing whatever is necessary in order to keep food on the table, clothes on your back, recreational activities for the kids. You see your mom going through that. And when you see your mom struggling with men, when you see that the men that your mom has gotten with, how maybe sometimes they didn't treat her right, or they just didn't live up to the expectations that you would have of somebody that was dealing with your mom, because that's your love. She took care of you and you want to see her being taken care of. So you want to see her happy. Okay. So, but when you see your mom manipulating situations, manipulating men, when you see your mom lying to men, trying to get money from them, trying to get favors from them, trying to get them to do things for her, and she lying because she's already told you to tell a lie. well, when he come over, I want y'all to say this and that and blah blah blah, and then he'll do that. So she's already told you and taught you how to lie, how to manipulate, how to scheme, and if they don't believe you, go ahead and start screaming and yelling and crying and pleading and all of that, even though you're not telling the truth. Once you see your mom do that, it's going to have an impression on you. A lot of parents lose their children behind this kind of stuff. But parents don't be telling the truth about why their kids don't mess with them like that. I've heard plenty of parents that were on drugs say, well, the reason that my relationship with my kids is strained now is because I was out there, I was getting high, and I wasn't there for them, and it's one of the things that I regret the most in my life. But we're trying to come together now, and they've forgiven me for a lot of things, and I'm still trying to forgive myself, and blah 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 blah. But I haven't heard one parent say, come forth or admit, my children don't mess with me because they know that I didn't tell them the truth, and they used to catch me in lies time after time. My kids don't mess with me. My kids aren't in my life because I didn't take care of them. My kids aren't in my life because I stole from them. My kids aren't in my life because it's all my fault. Not if no drugs were involved. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. My kids don't mess with me because I kept their father out of their life, out of their lives, even though he was trying to be in their lives. And they found out later on that he had been trying to be in their lives. And you don't hear no. I And don't get me wrong, all liars aren't cut from the same cloth, and um all drug addicts ain't cut from the same cloth. Not every drug addict comes clean about their involvement with their kids and why things ain't right. Why 5 of their 7 children are in foster care. Not everybody's forthcoming about that. Mia says, unfortunately, by the time the child finds out the truth, so much damage has been done. And now the child that might be an adult has so many issues other than trust. That's true. Let's read that again. Unfortunately, by the time the child finds out the truth, so much damage has been done. And now the child that might be an adult has so many issues other than trust. But most of those issues stemmed out of the fact that they saw the person who laid down the life foundation for them wasn't trustworthy. Kids don't usually accept that their parents are lying. Just like we was talking about before. Go ask my mom, because they know that their mom is not going to lie for them to somebody else. It's the same energy that kids have, that my mom wouldn't lie to me. My dad wouldn't lie to me. That's my best friend. That's the person I learned the truth from in the first place. And when they find out that they've been lied to, they've been bamboozled, they've been run amok. Yeah. It hurts. It hurts. I don't know about y'all, but I know a lot of people who don't get along with their parents. And I don't know about y'all, but I've known a lot of people who harbor a lot of resentment towards their parents. It's one of the things that really breaks my heart. I ain't gonna lie. It does. I hate it when I see somebody that doesn't get along with their parents or that harbors resentment from their childhood with their parents. But I get it. I get it. When you see your mom or your dad or your mom and your dad doing shiesty shit, doing inappropriate shit, being manipulative, lying, stealing, cheating, it doesn't leave your mind. You know why? You know one of the biggest reasons why? Because you know that if they raised you and they birthed you, you have the same capabilities that they have. And when you start getting older, you know that you start recognizing the things that you saw and the things that you feel and the things that you do. You might be mad at your parents because you see yourself being like your parents. So you feel like had they not laid down that negative foundation, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So it's kind of like you use an excuse of you being powerless. My daddy was a cheater. My granddaddy was a cheater. I come from a long line of players. What you think? What you think? I ain't have a snowball's chance in hell. Well, you do. Not that your hereditary past might not govern a lot of the things that you do and the ways that you feel, because there is something to that. But you, just like your ancestors made their decisions, it's time for you to make yours. You got to make your own decisions. You might feel like or escape to the thinking that had they not done it, I wouldn't be doing it. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I ain't gonna say that you all the way wrong. You know why? There's a reason that I've never sold drugs and that I've never used drugs. And it wasn't because I didn't want to make money or I didn't want to get high. The reason I've never used drugs or sold drugs is because I want to honestly be able to tell my children I never did no shit like that. There are other ways out here to make money. Good ways, honest ways. There are other ways out here to hustle. Good ways, honest ways, high paying ways. You do not have to sell drugs. That does not have to be your way out. It doesn't have to be your way in either. Because you know how people who sell drugs are. You know, they always act like that was the only way I could have got out of the ghetto. That was the only way I could have escaped the hood. That's the only way I had to make some money. It's the only way that that's how they say when they, that was their way out. Their way in is I needed startup capital in order to get this legal money popping, this legal business. So I did what I had to do. That ain't what you had to do. I ain't mad at nobody for selling drugs, but don't tell me that's what you had to do. Don't tell me that's what you had to do. Although I've known some families where it was a guaranteed thing that the children was going to sell drugs, because everybody, all the examples of anybody making money was through selling drugs. It was all drugs, baby. All right. But other than that, I always wanted to be able to honestly and truly tell my children that I never did no shit like that. So if they ever get involved in that, I want to be able to say, nah, no, I don't accept that. You ain't come from that. On either side. I guess it's safe to say I wouldn't mess around with a drug addict. Yeah. It's pretty safe to say that. Yeah. I ain't messing around with no chicks that was on drugs. They always selling drugs. Anyway. Yeah. So there is something to genetics and heredity, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your plight. The same way that a rose grows in the cement and one of those birds in the flock flies away and makes a different way of life for themselves, you can do the same thing. What they did doesn't have to be what you're going to do. But when you see your parents engage in that unscrupulous behavior, that inappropriate behavior, when you see them being a yelling, screaming, and crying liar, it's going to weigh on you, man. It is. It's going to weigh on you, and you're not going to like the way that it makes you feel. I get it. Get it. I don't stop, get it. I do. I don't stop, get it. But that's something that we have to fight through in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, the yelling, screaming, and crying liar. Shout out to all of the dudes who done put their hands on their girl or their wife and went yelling and screaming and crying to their mom. Shout out to all of y'all women out there who have had a man who told on y'all. You ever had a man who told on you? Went to your mom and told on you? Yeah, I don't always do the right thing, but she lost her job, right? She ain't tell you? Oh yeah, she lost her job 2 weeks ago. She ain't tell you? Yo, snitching bitch ass man. Yeah, she lost her job because she got into it with her supervisor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't think she told you. Yeah. Shout out to y'all. And when I say shout out, I don't mean that in a good way. I'm just giving you an acknowledgement that I see you. I see you. I see you out there. Oh, yeah. Let's do these birthday shout outs. Shall we? Shall we? We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious November 26th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are. SPECIAL, they get the RESPECT, they are SPECIAL, they get the RESPECT, they are SPECIAL, they get the RESPECT, they get number one out the box, Shay Johnson, turning 40 years old today, the big 82, baby. And also $1 Million Dom, turning 38 years old today. And also Jessica Judkins, turning 42 years old today. And Sherlonda Pierre, turning 30 years old today. And Seiji Thompson, happy birthday to you. And Wanda Connor, turning 61 years old today. And Ray Anwar Pollard, happy birthday to you. And my man Rashad Pollard, they're actually the same person. Happy birthday to you, turning 40 years old today. And Marvin Elliott, turning 69 years old today. And Nicole Millsip, happy birthday to you. And my man, comedian Sean Clay, the ever so popular comedian and promoter in Philadelphia, Sean Clay. Happy birthday to you, my brother. And last but not least, my girl going all the way back to the 1991. My girl Rhonda Jones Finch. Rhonda Jones Finch. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. All y'all. I hope that the day finds you good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. I want to give a shout out to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious November 26th. Anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally, all of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. I rock out, rock on it, do the damn, the rock out, rock on it, do the damn, rock out, rock on it, do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, man, the yelling, screaming, and crying liar will always have an impression on you. And if you let them keep getting away with yelling and screaming and crying while they lying, then they'll keep yelling, screaming, and crying and lying. They're bullies. They're bullies. If you let a person bully you into believing them, I mean, when you think about the audacity of it, yeah, I don't believe you. Oh, you don't believe me? What? What you mean you don't believe me? I'm gonna get all up in your face. I'm gonna get all loud. And then I'm gonna start. I'm saying, y'all ain't never give me a fair shot. Y'all ain't never believe in me. Y'all ain't never want me to end it. Y'all ain't ever do that. The bottom line is your ass stole the money or your ass didn't do what you were supposed to do. Deal with that. Sometimes you just gotta deal with it. You know what I'm saying, son? You gotta deal with it. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, and love y'all right back to life. Please make sure that y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I'd appreciate me. Angel Eyes. Well, look at here. Good to see y'all. T. Carey, right? Morning, noon, and night. Emily Dunlap. Stacy White. Thanks for coming through, y'all. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Mucho. We will be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. We think we won't when we will. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All right, y'all. Y'all be good for the rest of the day. Hopefully y'all had a good Thanksgiving. Black Friday. If you participate in all of the financial and commercial dealings of what goes into that, I mean, more power to you. It's your money. You know what I'm saying? Get me something while y'all out there. I can send y'all, I can inbox y'all with my personal needs. Something about that. Like, all right. So tomorrow, 1 p.m. Angel Eyes, you married? No, you? You are still married. You should be. Let me find out you're not. You gotta be. All right. So let's get out of here. All right, Blog Talk. We gonna get you out of here. Yeah. Let's go. Bliggy. What you doing? What happened? All right, there we go.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers.